Welcome to Virtue Podcast, powered by Azkka Pharmaceuticals, India's first company to bring evidence-based flat pricing in medicine. Virtue Podcast brings in renowned healthcare experts as we explore the path to healthier living, where science meets virtuosity. Tune in to YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Spotify as we welcome our virtuous guest. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell icon for the latest updates, and leave your comments.
Welcome to the Azkka Virtue Podcast, where we decode the secrets of well-being with experts who truly care. I'm Bhavin Bhatt, and today we have with us a name synonymous with leadership, vision, and lifelong service in healthcare, Dr. Debasis Basu. With decades of clinical excellence, Dr. Basu is not only a senior consultant in diabetes and preventive cardiology, but also a medical strategist, educator, and health systems thinker. He is the chairman of the Meta Dana Foundation, medical director at Meta Academy, and the founder of the Apollo Sugar Clinic, a model for structured diabetes care in India. It's our privilege to welcome a clinician, educator, and public health visionary, Dr. Basu, to the Azkka Virtue Podcast. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Bhavin, for giving me this opportunity, and I'm flattered with the words that you said. In fact, it's a long way. Well, it was around 26 when I started moving from education to tasting the practice of profession.
Right.
Medical profession was just about set for a big change, and we didn't know such a big change it will happen. It was being redesigned as a corporate enterprise. The healthcare industry has proved to be very lucrative, and therefore has seen the entry of newer players, from the corporate field into this market. The medical industrial complex, this has led to the commercialization of healthcare. Beyond what traditional practitioners like my guru, Professor Abani Rai Choudhury, R.K. Datta Rai, J.C. Ghosh, Malay Ghosh, all the doyens, they would hardly consider this to be ideal. The practice of medicine started to be treated as a business, with the cost curtailment measures and the profit margins often dictating, the patient's and the patient and the physician choices. The relationships became a little overawed and overwhelmed, and a number of factors that started deciding the working environment in a corporate setup was something which was very new to all of us.
Right.
And we realized that somewhere the sacrosanct physician-patient relationship is getting affected. The physician's ethics are being tarnished. On the other hand, we can say that the corporate sector brought in a very welcome change in the healthcare sector in terms of the availability of newer modalities of management, implementation of preventive, creative, and personalized healthcare programs, and at the same time adding to the comfort of the treating physician. This was not to be ignored. I mean,
True.
we used to get the luxury, chairs and big rooms and all the facilities, calling bell and all that aids. Just, as it was becoming, I mean, I'm talking about the COVID times also, that it was erroneous to look upon doctors as noble saviors, the frontline warriors and all those that we heard. Worse still was, gods. Out of 10 people calling you, say, some name, 6 if they call you GOT, you would be, rest assured, 4 are not going to let you lose without a DOT. But on your scale of 6 to 4, you've done it. You've made it. So it will be very simplistic to hurl the allegations on us with such a superhero ideology against the medical and medical community also started becoming kind of greedy somewhere. They were not subject to the ideology of businessmen running the show. They also fell prey to their ask. The answer for the call was getting kind of underplayed. Human values in general started undergoing an already state of erosion. We know that. And consumerism, materialism, they all kind of got ahead in life. And frankly speaking, I mean, we also got into the envy books of our friends and other colleagues. This kind of became a rule, and this is how most of us are living today. Now, if medicine were to be treated as a corporate enterprise, then medicine would turn into business, no doubt about it,
Right.
with patients being your clientele. Now, research might be guided by profits rather than by the real needs. Ideally, the importance of making profits may go hand in hand with the ability and capacity to devote some funds for the socially relevant, causes.
True.
And there, maybe at the age of 40, suddenly it occurred to me that being in charge of the Apollo Sugar Clinic, I was missing out on something more.
Right.
I mean, maybe 95% of the people could not even dare to look at the dazzling premises. I mean, forget about affording to come and talk to me. So the biggest challenge here was to achieve kind of the right balance between the profits and the patient welfare without the inherent conflicts. And it is likely that better and more efficient medical services would develop from this kind of an arrangement with an ethically and professionally satisfying relation between the patient and his or her doctor. However, the availability of an ideal service is likely to be associated with some hitches, which include inevitable, cost escalation from all segments.
Right.
This may be controlled by intense competition between several other such healthcare enterprises all around you. The second hitch is neglect of socially backward classes.
Right.
The didis and the thais who come to you, make you, wake you up and then make you ready for the day. Right. How much do you think about them? Most of them have some kind of NCD. Did you ever ask what your blood pressure Didi is or what your sugar level have you tested? You have not done that, maybe.
Right. Absolutely.
So there we have some onus, some responsibility. Now, the particular problem has to be solved by a policy of, self-discipline, self-regulation at home, in your clinic, with appropriate governmental legislation also, doing something, consciously for them, not just for their electoral, fingerprints, but to take their hand, hold all the fingers together, tight grip, take them to the right places. Forget about their economic setting. You have earned a lot, and you can't spare this money for the people who are taking care of you.
So true.
So we thought that this is a place where we can come in, and we did not want to make advantage of our growing stature.
Right.
We wanted to reap some healthy benefits out of what we accrued as wealth. And the last thing that people look as a determinant of wealth is health. Right. So we wanted to change that. We wanted to actually market some forces, some controllable forces, where we can regulate the idea about giving decisions and good management process to helping one and all. So that's how Meta started. Wow. Meta is a Pali word, which means loving kindness. So a doctor can be very kind, but not truly loving in nature. You cannot see him, a rough, tough gentleman, and don't open up to him. The other person may be very loving, but he may not be that kind to, spend from his pocket and help out for the people who need. So for this bridge to be gap, to be filled, we had our educators. So this is a Meta Care Clinic is a caregiving clinic by the educators. Okay. It is also for the educators. We make educators. We teach and have courses run by them, of them, for them, and finally it is for one and all. It is for all the people around the world. And when we started this, I remember I had read in some 2008 one Singh and Singh's paper where they clearly said, for profit, without patient welfare is totally blind. True. You earn a lot of money, no patient welfare. But where there's patient welfare without profit, that is also lame. True. So my first 20 years, I had been running, but I'd been, now I recall that I'd been running on one leg. My MBA in healthcare, I did not make full use of it at that time because I was very passionate in my 40s. I started, with God's good grace, giving away. I could gather and that energy and summon up the courage to. I would also go to that extent and say very humbly that I completely denied my family, my near ones, to go out and do something for the world at large. That was not the right thing I did, I must humbly confess. But this is a platform where I might, because if some juniors, some people who are young enthusiasts and want to do something good, I would say that this is a take home for them.
Right.
That you need to begin with purpose, not infrastructure.
So true.
So our healthcare setup must be rooted in a clear mission to serve, heal, and empower the community. At the Metacare Clinic, it all began with that loving kindness, compassion for the non-communicable disease patients. Our clinic, we have a mission in the foundation: NCD. No child develops any non-communicable disease anymore.
Wow.
So for that, we have a conceptual movement, which is called Swasthwala Pathshala. I'll come to that later. So in most of these patients are so lost in the wilderness of within the fragmented system that exists today.
Right.
I think our vision and mission with some management plan is making some difference.
Wow.
We are trying to build on our clinical credibility with my mentors. Few of them are not there. They're showering blessings from heaven. I think we are doing extremely well in terms of making a very strong foundation of an evidence-based ethical care practice. Our patients should come back to us for follow-up visits, and that's our objective, to retain our patients. NCD's care is just running a marathon. It is not a very posh 5-star ambience where you come in for a sprint and never show up again.
Right.
But you have to develop that inherent trust that has to be built very naturally to improve the understanding, the bonding.
Right.
You have to design patient-centric models, and we have that. We screen our patients from top to toe. From CIMT, whether you have a chance of stroke, to retina, to dental health, to lung hygiene, to heart, all the cardiac autonomic neuropathy test, which can predict silent ischemia, myocardial ischemia, silent heart attack, to the kidneys, to the peripheral arterial disease. In fact, we have the best state-of-the-art foot clinic. We have the Diabetes Specialty Foot Clinic. Anyone in the East is welcome. We are thoroughly engaged and empowered to prevent amputation.
Wow.
We are tied up with also Indian Podiatry Association. That's a state-of-art referral center. Our center is basically based on counseling and personalized disease management, and not just scribbling some medicines on a piece of paper. So we made sure that healthcare must feel human.
True.
So do we have the privilege to feel like really healthcare heroes?
Right.
And as we are also human at the end of the day. And we make sure that we have the essence of both in us, the hero, the ambivalent hero, and the human. So we started very lean. We had the vision to scale, and that's where the MBM perhaps matters. We have the mindset engaging the right people, the right visionary people, in not only the treatment protocols, but also scaling the progress, the technology, the team. So we invest in people and not just property. So the right team is very compassionate, skilled, and aligned with our vision. And of course, they're much more valuable than the machines and the gadgets and the buildings. And for us, obviously, this culture, the socio-determinants of health, comes before construction. In fact, in the next month we have a film festival.
Oh wow!
Which claims to be the culture for a cause, and that too for the future.
Wow.
So people can come and learn about good films, and also learn about how they should live well. So we are also very keen to embrace technology, and we did it very early. All digitized records, the remote monitoring, the telehealth, the data analytics, and all that. They're essential to the quality and efficiency of the modern patient engagement. We measure patient in terms of the impact that we have on them, and not just the routine activity that we go through them. We have people, the footfalls we count, definitely. The number of tests we do, we count. But ultimately, we look at the remission rates. We look at how many people have really improved their lifestyles. I was just telling, the medical representatives burnout program that we did from the foundation. And the first I'm happy to share that Azkka is a big part of it.
Yes.
You know,
Thank you, sir.
my brother Mukti Shadhanath has been a partner to this program, and we have improved lifestyles. There are 5 people out of these 28, they have quit smoking.
Wow.
And how many patients they feel heard and feel helped is our bottom line.
True.
We try to ensure financial responsibility for people who cannot pay from their pocket. I mean,
Right.
most of the people in healthcare today pay through the nose.
Right.
So we make the engagement of the community in a big way. Our patients come and they, as I said, meta dan. So they come
Right.
and they donate. And they
Right.
see that if their children are being taken care of as type 1 diabetes, when they buy insulin for their own children, they buy one for people
Right.
or the children of a lesser
Understood.
god. I mean, that way to say. So
Right.
we are trying to evolve as clinical entrepreneur. We are obviously staying very humble. We do learning every day, every moment, and I think we are living in a system which is healthcare, and healthcare is a living system by itself.
True. So that's indeed so powerful. I mean, it's inspiring how your journey wasn't just about treating patients, but building an ecosystem that cares for them for long term. I think that's something very aspiring healthcare. Every aspiring healthcare leader needs to hear what you really said. That sometimes your calling lies in the gaps you notice.
Yes.
So, sir, thank you for sharing this story of origin. That how it all started and where it is today. And I'm sure there is a lot of sweat, hard work, and soul which has got into this to make Metadana the way it is and where it is today. So, Dr. Basu, you have had an extensive clinical career. What inspired you to pursue an MBA in healthcare after becoming a successful doctor? I mean, do you consider this as a turning point?
Well, I would very honestly tell you that I was feeling bored. I mean, I need to do something. I mean, whether it's movies, I'm a movie buff. I was to really quiz, big time quiz out in my days.
Okay.
So there's a calling. There's this itching of reading something, doing something beyond being beyond your own realm. I mean, kind of thinking out of the box. And I realized that clinical excellence was just not alone enough to influence a system level change,
Right.
or scale that impact. Because humbly speaking, way back in 2008 we coined some slogans. বয়স হলে 30 বছর blood sugar test প্রতি বছর. I mean, which was translated by I call him my big brother. He calls me my brother from Bengal, Javed Saab. He translated that. Now we are looking for this change. বয়স হলে 25 বছর blood sugar test প্রতি বছর, maybe 20 বছর. So annually test blood sugar once, 20 plus you are.
Right.
The other slogan was গর্ভবতী হলেন যিনি দেখতেই হবে তার চিনি. So once you're diagnosed with pregnancy, blood sugar test is an urgency.
True.
Hindi, Javed Saab did the translation. Garbhati ho jab, shakkar jaat tab. And he was there. He was there in Delhi. I landed up in his office, and we had a lovely time. And we came out. He said, "Well, ho gaya kaam aapka." So I said, and then stickers came, and we started projecting these slogans. Unfortunately, we could not do it at the scale that the country needed to do. Maybe all the hoardings, the main place hoardings of my country should have such slogans being showcased, and people should see and ask. The children should ask their parents about what this is all about.
True.
And the parents should also know to tell the children that well, this is the ominous entity which is looming large to kind of like a predator prowling at you. So the turning point came when I struggled to implement this kind of a preventive care program, and due to the gaps in operations and the stakeholder alignment, I wanted to actually bridge the gap, as I said, between medical decision making and a kind of a strategic leadership, if you say. I don't obviously call myself a leader, nowhere close to a leader. No one, I mean, at home, no one listens to me. But, and of course, at home, there are so many people voicing out so many views that make, my decisions so enriched. So this MBA in healthcare that offered tools to navigate, through the process of formulation of policy making. So I could go and talk to Ghulam Nabi Saab, and he accepted our slogans. He incorporated the slogans in the national, the policy of NCD that we have, way back 2012.
Right.
And where I wanted to actually think about imparting financial literacy, people who cannot afford, people who even can afford but could not meet both ends of doing such very costly healthcare to their mundane routine life of buying their bread and butter. I wanted to see this change happening where I could offer medical numeracy. Aapka insulin lagega 34 unit today because your carbohydrate is this, and you had an avocado because this was some little bit of fat. Your sugar would not rise this much, but this much. So last morning it was 38 because of the avocado, and the same chura that you're having, same 30 grams, I'm making it 34 because the avocado will take care of the spike initially, and all that. Jugglery.
Right.
But that's not for a common man to understand at the first go. But we ensure in Meta that this kind of a team responsible management occurs very efficiently. If you can only empower them to lead this change by themselves. So it is not only the diabetes and the obesity self-management education. It is also the support system that we keep on providing to our patients and their caregivers and their family, their friends who are taking care of these patients. So this is what we would like to do, and I believe many young doctors would like to open their own clinics. Or small hospitals today, but somewhere as a modern graduate, when you come out basking in the glory of your medical education, and medicine is all about education, science, and I would say healing is the art. Medicine is the best profession, of course, the noblest profession that we say, but healthcare industry has become business. But I am an integral part of the healthcare business. How can I disown that? And I shouldn't. So there should be, a very clear transparency for what you are trying to do and what you're doing. So, I would say that this young people should gain exposure to healthcare operations by working in different diverse clinical settings, private, public, to understand the patient flow, stuffing, the EMRs, and all that is taken in a modern managerial system. The regulatory requirements, very important. Invest in basic business and, as I said, financial literacy, including practice budgeting, pricing of their own setup, making it more compliant to their patients walking in. They should validate the demand through local community health assessments to identify the gaps in services, and exist in the competition. They should not fall out from the competition because they're lowering their their tariffs. Now the tariff time, Trump time. So the best tariff time is the tariff is your health. So how much extra money or leverage that you should pay for your health is priceless.
Absolutely.
To your anti-obesity drugs, which are very costly, but when it comes to people kind of bargaining, सर इतना दाम इतना भाव हो गया, कैसा हम खरीदे, क्या करें हमारा, तो हम जिंदगी का दाम कितना है आपका, what's the price of your life? So then when you compare and you get what you actually are designed to get from these products, and they change your life, they actually take care of your complications, they make you a different person, then you will get back a new life and you will earn more than ever you thought, because you were suffering all this while. Your economy was also going downhill. Now you're come back as a revamped man and you start earning more, doing better for yourself. So these are, kind of take home that I would tell the young people from MBA. You actually make a potential patient base, and you ensure that you create a very clear clinical service vision. You define, the scope of their care in terms of NCD, the target population, your unique value proposition that you have. You can estimate your startup cost. You can identify your recurring expenses, the break-even timelines. You can consider funding options, the pricing strategy. Totally a trusted multidisciplinary team, hire essential support staff, people who make difference for you.
So true.
Infrastructure, right location, everything based on your accessibility, competition analysis, patient convenience, compliance with medical facility norms, licensing, safety standards, everything. So all composite when you look at, And when you're leveraging digital tools, implementing all the EMR, appointment booking, patient communication, follow-up system, all that, then you you become a professional brand, identity yourself.
So true.
Yeah.
So, sir, to summarize, I mean, we also see that so many doctors face challenges outside the consultation room. And I really love the fact that you did not just manage it, you mastered it with this. So, it's a reminder that business skills in healthcare aren't optional anymore, they are actually essential.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, sir, this also leads to my next question that many young doctors want to open their own clinics or small hospitals, but lack the guidance for the same. What are the first three steps you believe every young doctor should take before thinking about their own setup that they want to build?
I would say that I'll again, go back and say the same thing. You gain exposure to all the healthcare industries that you have around you. Number one, you invest first in the basic, first small scale basic strategy.
Right.
As I was telling you, to put your understanding about the financial literacy yourself, how much you can afford to, shove out from your kitty, and scale it up, and then validate the demand through the local community that you will practice. You'll come and sit and cater to.
Right.
So your health assessment, this identity should be there, very clean and clear in terms of doing the potentially right thing for your people around you. And I would personally, being an NCD specialist, I would say that you will need to clarify whether it will be a solo practice or it is a kind of a team-based managed care. Today, many people are looking at that kind of an integrated care. So you develop a realistic financial and operational plan. You build that, as I said, trusted multidisciplinary team, hire the right people, choose the right location, infrastructure, select a site, which is a doable site. Leverage the digital tools today for your marketing and your clinic management. Create a professional own identity.
Network.
These are the basic steps which will be giving you a foundation for a successful, sustainable, and a patient-focused healthcare practice.
True. So, I mean, that's a golden advice that, to start with a purpose is foremost the most important thing, as you mentioned initially as well, and then build the tools to support it.
That's right.
So, I love that you emphasize starting small because in medicine, everyone's trained to be perfect. But in entrepreneurship, we need to be learners.
Absolutely.
So that is a shift which is very, very crucial, I think, for especially young doctors when they look for to start on their own.
Right.
So how important is it for doctors to think beyond medicine, like hiring right, building trust, maintaining branding, and ensuring financial stability? I think these are the points which are totally non-medical, but I think you have mastered all of it. I mean, apart from the clinical excellence, these are the things you have mastered. So, if you can throw some light on this.
Well, mastering is a big challenge. I mean, people don't master before they leave, so it's till the last year you learn. But I would certainly, going by the points that you said, hiring right. That's a very important, first, in fact, step to doing anything. Getting a good wife at home is the first step of journey in life. So thinking beyond medicine enables doctors to deliver holistic patient-centered care. There's no doubt. So hiring the right team ensures operational efficiency, and that also enhances and enriches the patient experience. The patient will come to you and will be coming back to you happy because you had the right team who garnered all the interest in the patient.
Yes.
They showed the right path 24/7, like our Metacare team. They are kind of not helicoptering or sitting on your neck, breathing down your neck or spine. But what they're doing is they're constantly keeping you motivating.
True. Very important.
They're keeping you abreast with the latest knowledge and technology. Building trust, of course, it fosters a very, very important long-term patient relationship and improves adherence to our care plans. You don't shuffle from one doctor to the other. I talk about insulin, left, right, and center. these days I do talk about the anti-obesity medicines, the GLP-1 receptor analogs, the GLP-1 RA and the GIP combinations as well. But people adhere. People come talk about it. That we have we thrash it out. We have open arguments, discussions, and finally, the patient wins the trust. I don't win.
Yeah.
The patient wins, and makes me proud that he leaves the clinic victorious. He has earned, like the silk chocolate. He has earned the merit of the product. It's not me, pushing the. It's not a push sale.
Right.
So he deserves to earn it. And of course, strategic branding makes a difference in the practice in this increasingly competitive healthcare market. Financial sustainability ensures continuity of good quality care and the ability to reinvest to maintain the high standard services or improve or further your status to a superlative level, considering the process of growth and development that is happening all around the world and every other minute.
True.
So I would hereby say, Bhavin, that the non-clinical skills are also important.
So true. So true.
I mean, they empower the doctors to scale the impact through innovation and entrepreneurship. And effective communication, strong analytical skills are very essential for the health policy and advocacy.
Right.
So as a doctor, if I have that skill, and that's a soft skill, then I can come in, in reality to enjoy a policy advocacy role in life.
Right.
And that's where I'm making a change directly to society, on society. And, something that we as individuals have, not AI cannot have this, is emotional intelligence.
Right.
So understanding and appreciating the emotion and the feeling of my patients and the patients' relatives and family, that word, empathy, that cognitive empathy, that compassionate empathy, that is very critical. It is critical for critical thinking as well. Analyzing the situations and solving the problems efficiently. The teamwork has to be there, as I always keep saying. That you have to share your knowledge with your team, provide constructive feedback to your colleagues. Most importantly, Bhavin, what is not happening today is there's no ethical leadership that way visible.
Right.
That we learned as students, as medical students, 50 years back.
Right.
So that has to be brought back again, kind of reinforced into the system. That credibility, that patient loyalty has to come back. I mean, Google Baba is there. So, but you have to ensure in such a way that the patient will believe that the doctor. I have a trust on the doctor more than what I've read from the Google.
Right.
And he's a better master.
Very important. Right.
And so understanding all the systems and the outcomes with this value-based healthcare models, we need to collaborate well. We need to bring in finance, technology, communication, and finally, as thought leaders, as we were saying, we have to shape the future of healthcare delivery.
True.
That's our job. If you are there as a doctor, you ever lived on this planet, that's something that you have got to, as Vivekananda said, Swamiji, that you have to make an indelible mark on the surface of this planet to make sure that you had come.
So true. So that's indeed such a holistic way of looking at care. I would say. I think what you are saying is medicine heals the patient, but systems heal the journey. As you said, the patient should get the right experience that they come back to you again. And that's where leadership comes in. So it's refreshing to hear this from a clinician entrepreneur like you. I would not only say you are a clinician, you are a clinician entrepreneur. So, sir, this also leads me to the next question, that you have been part of research and national programs, as you mentioned. So how close are we to building a healthcare system that rewards remission over long-term medication?
Coming from Bhavin, I think this looks like a boomerang, but not at all. I would say absolutely on the contrary. There's global evidence is growing and glowing now with data saying that, for example, diabetes remission. These words, the fad words, diabetes reversal. You cannot reverse and put an end to diabetes because diabetes is a way of living. As I say, these religions faith that you follow. Hinduism is a way of living.
Right.
Diabetes per se is a way of living as well. If you are
Right.
diagnosed with diabetes, maybe a little early in life, that you learn the trick of the trade so well that you ought to bring in and of course you bring the changes, incorporate the changes, and then you start following what had been advised to you. You will live a glorious 200 years. I mean, because you will keep checking yourself, according to guidelines, and you will be prevented from these complications will not come and attack you. Before they do, you can prevent them.
Right.
So a person who is apparently normal and says, I'm hale and hearty, I don't have any problem, shrugs out all the queer probabilities ever, he will not check. But this guy will go back and check every 6 months, 1 year, maybe if required, the status demands, 3 months. And he will be meted out this good treatment that is there. So we know that we can prolong lives today.
True.
But the question is very simple, that diabetes remission can happen through lifestyle and dietary interventions. We have seen this. And I'll come back to this point here, that the NPCD-CS policy, and now the NP-NCD policy, this talks about integrating preventive care. But remission isn't still, a formal goal. Our Honorable Prime Minister Modi Saab, he unveiled the 5 key pillars of India's health policy last Diwali day, I think, from the All India Institute of Ayurveda, where he said that our government should now focus on preventive healthcare. I was extremely happy to hear that.
True. Yes.
Timely diagnosis, affordable treatment, expanding healthcare access to rural areas, and where we go out in our mobile clinic vans to the villages for doing retina screening, foot screening, and all that. And finally, integrating technology into the healthcare sector. And I would proudly share with you that I happen to be very close relative of the IIT Kharagpur. I happen to be their have a chair there in their esteemed department. And we have a Meta IIT Mo.
Wow.
So where their affordable, products that they design, and they have phenomenal brains,
Right, absolutely.
And if that can be applied to the common man, here, as we say, integrating technology to the mass, what best can happen? So I'm really eager to see more and more work coming out from IIT, and more and work, field applications happening from Meta. So good days are here. And I wish really that I can partner with the National Health Mission, NHM, for joining hands in our project Swasthwala Pathshala, which is actually something, harmonizing with the major schemes that NHM has. Rashtriya Kishor Swasthya Karyakram, which is called RKSK. And there's also one Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram. Ours is from 12 to 16. And that's a formative age group where you can prevent NCDs from happening, the risk factors. You tell them that, well, smoking is bad and don't do it. Indoor pollution and that education. And that makes a big impact, because these children are so, soft that the mold will be very tough and rough. And they can also go back and take care of their parents and their grandparents.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have this very funny thing. We encourage our students to go and touch the feet of their elderly every day once they're going to school. I mean, from home, they leave. In that process, they will also examine the feet of their parents and grandparents, whether it's diabetes or not. I mean, the conformation, deformity, and all that. So there's this other mission called Indradhanush, which is actually kind of our extension of the adult vaccination program that we run at the Medicare Clinic. This is mandatory for mostly all NCDs, particularly diabetes. We have herpes vaccination, pneumonia, the conjugated and the polyvalent. We have influenza, we have hepatitis B. So these are must. So we ensure that people who, whether they have money or not, whether they can afford or not, we give them the vaccination according to the dose schedule. So this matches with in the Dhanush program. So we are waiting that NHM will come and we'll collaborate one day. We have this other Pradhan Mantri Surakshit Matritva Abhijan, which is rhyming our safe pregnancy counseling that we do. We have this Qazi-led program where on the day of the nikah, the Qazi will go and appraise the bride and the groom and the parents, in-laws, and their own parents, to talk about safe pregnancy.
Right.
It's not done overnight accidents or something forced upon.
Right.
So this is something which is very close to our heart. And the other programs like NHM conducts the iodine deficiency program, the control of fluorosis program, I would like to suggest, to the country and the rest of the world who is listening to this, is that we should have a national vitamin D deficiency disorder control program today, because we propagate the idea about vitamin D in terms of talking about remission. Maybe IBD, maybe Crohn's disease can go into remission. Maybe psoriasis, maybe a lot of diseases. And particularly because I hail from diabetes, obesity, and NCD background. All these diseases may be preventable with adequate vitamin level, which is, in my opinion, maybe 60 to 70 ng per ml for the Indians. We are kind of brown skin, if not black skin, so we don't convert that because of the melanin. So if the government can help us, and healthcare systems will still need to intensify chronic medications over the reversal focused outcomes, because when you were talking, your fair price idea of medicines has been revolutionary. We all subscribe to the tremendous innovative idea that you had shown as a courageous leader. And the financial incentives are there, we know, all across board, favoring the chronic medication use. The whole healthcare service today is a fee for service. So how many patients you see, at the end of the day, how much rice you buy. There is also reimbursement for chronic care. There's no reimbursement for preventive care.
So true.
Remission is out of question. And I fail to understand this. Why don't the insurance companies, they tie up with us, and we have these annual programs where we screen these people and say that, well, they're paying the due premium, but they're doing well. So you don't have to pay for them for a bypass surgery or for a 15-day stroke management at the hospital or a kidney transplant. If they're keeping fit, if the disease is going into remission, why don't you encourage that? Maybe a battery of tests a year, rather than only waiting for them to get admitted. And I don't see any logic in this. But maybe things may change one day. So we have core challenges with this reversal-focused outcome. There is lack of funding for prevention. And the whole complex system barrier is to maintain optimal health and implement lifestyle changes. You need to actually have a team, a very extensive, significant lifestyle changing team, a game changing team, which is unfortunately not there in this country. We have never focused on breeding these wonderful baby of beautiful girls that we call educators, or rather we say diabetes care and education specialists. So we need to now develop this field force to sustain the whole idea of remission with good support. And whether you're reimbursed or not, you finally will not really need medication.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this emerging digital healthcare platforms in India, they would, which they are doing, promoting a lot of remission-based models at a different scale. We need to understand that. We need the payer system also should appreciate that, including the insurers. They have to restructure their reimbursement around remission success. Medical curricula. When we were students, we had anything related to prevention. We were only talking big things about the disease. And we had the third-year syndrome, all the diseases we used to have on our own. So that curricula and guideline has to be now brought into use, vogue, treatment-centric rather than reversal-oriented books should be, the changes have to be brought in. Private sector initiatives and startups should lead to think about that shift towards the outcome-based care, see the remission happening. Policy support for nutrition, fitness, the behavioral health, that should increase. And I think we are at this kind of an inflection point the momentum is still building. It's brewing well. But the systemic transformation may need another 5-10 years in this country, big country. I have worked extensively in preventive segment for a lot of time. And now we believe in remission. I tell you, you've just seen, I was sharing with you, 13 A1C coming down in 6 weeks to 7. And we're very aggressive. And maybe, a little bit of insulin the first time. But we douse that fire of glucolipotoxicity in a young boy who never moved in the last 5-6 years. Had been too much, kind of heartbroken with a lot of stress from all possible quarters. And now we have shaped him up in such a way, as I said, motivation and convinced that he can choose a different life. So he has, and he will never go back to that path because he has realized that he was going into that rut and nothing was happening. And he was taking one medicine after the other. His A1C was going up, his weight was going up. And now he is a different changed man. And this is not he. This is, in our clinic, I say, 5 out of 10 people, we counsel them at the beginning with the psychological score. We have the PAID score, problem areas in diabetes and diabetes distress score, 17. So they fill up the form and the educators take a note of that. And with that, they decide the further course of the treatment pattern. They talk to the patient in that language, which will not kind of baffle them, not overwhelm them so that they don't show up again. So they become friends. They become like brothers and sisters. So yesterday was the Rakhi day. So you should have seen Rakhis overflowing, like, a kite ceremony in our clinic. And this is what I think I have gained over the years. This is the little reward that I have. And remission is something that we all should look forward in this country of 1.43 billion, where people cannot pay, that way directly. I mean, and this is, you have to pay through the nose for the modern medicines you have. You don't have a nose now to breathe. So you need to better change.
So I feel, sir, that's both hopeful and honest. I appreciate how you acknowledge the progress, but also the structural inertia which is there.
Yes.
I think more leaders like you, when they keep pushing that conversation, the faster we'll be able to get there. Was the whole point. So you have worked on preventive cardiology and diabetes extensively. Can you explain how obesity becomes the gateway to NCDs like diabetes and heart disease?
Well, so this is, everyone now knows that excess body fat, particularly the visceral fat, I mean, all about carbohydrate intake and how it first gives you a little bit of energy, then converts into glycogen in the liver, say 100 gram of glycogen, 400 gram in the skeletal muscles. And that's a part of carbohydrate gone. But the rest of what we have, that gets converted into, thousands and thousands of calories of fat. First is that comes to the subcutaneous, fat, and then when it's overloaded, it goes to the ectopic sites, the visceral fat. It goes to the liver. So liver is the primary culprit. I mean, liver is the mother problem. I mean, for children whose mothers call, "Mera bachcha ko thoda puppy fat hua, Dr. Babu." So I'm shameless. I immediately shout and say, well, this is not puppy fat. You are a puppy mother, not puppy mother. You are doing a sin. You're doing a miserable sin to your child. You are not taking, control of the situation now. You address the problem right away. So that has to be nipped in the bud. So that liver fat will definitely, give away the, this is de novo lipogenesis. The extra glucose is being converted into fat and through the SREB and the, CHREB. So you all know that. And finally, that will give rise to these fatty acids pouring out in the form of palmitic acid, going to the beta cells of the pancreas and stopping the beta cells from secreting at the time of your need and desire. And when you're having the food, then the adequate insulin release will not happen. But otherwise, the whole night you're secreting a lot of insulin, which normally shouldn't happen. Normally, glucose will come out because at night you ought to survive without any food. In this case, that becomes exaggerated. You have glucose the whole night, and you have also insulin following that, and that finally will deprive you of the insulin reserve. You will not only become diabetic, but soon you'll require insulin. because no medicines will work. Your insulin reserve will go out from the pancreas.
Right.
This is the twin cycle hypothesis of Roy Turner, done in, I think, 2011 was the counterpoint study. Before that, he conceived this idea, twin cycle. Said the liver comes, the fat comes to the liver to pancreas, and the whole cycle is a vicious cycle, and then too much of fat and insulin doesn't work. Now, this is how excess body fat, visceral fat, will lead to the low-grade inflammation. Ultimately, it's the inflammatory cytokines, not the COVID cytokines, the obesity inflammation, the diabetes inflammation, impairing all the metabolic functions. Obesity itself gives resistance to the liver, and that's how liver stops working. So more glucose in your blood, and following that more insulin. And they are tired. They can't get the glucose and put it in the cells. So cells are starving, but the glucose, there's a lot of glucose in the blood. So the circulation has glucose, but the cells which need glucose as energy, they don't have glucose.
So the vicious cycle begins here.
So that's, starvation amidst plenty. And that's exactly what is happening with obesity, with our healthcare system. There is so much of abundance of so much of technology, so much of modern medicine, yet the common man is starving to have the basic requirement of a lifestyle change, which nobody cares to talk to him. I mean, nobody spares. I mean, we know that the BMJ Open article says that it's hardly less than 3 minutes that a doctor in India spends for a patient. I mean, whether it's public, private, put together, some elegant lady's article. But this is true. This is true, so true. So where I say meta, M-E-T-A, is metamorphosis, we are M-E-T-T-A, metta, Maitri, Pali word. That T is truth, the truth about loving kindness, that you talk to your patients. Half an hour is spent. The first day you counsel, he will not remember one word of that. So it takes 3 sessions, half an hour each. Then he or she retains maybe 50% of that.
So true.
Then finally, to application, it takes another 2-3 counseling sessions. So we at MetaCare Clinic, we are doing this. It's a clinic manned by these diabetes educators, the care and the educator specialists. So I say, as a doctor, managing obesity is a different task, very difficult task.
True.
So as you're saying that this fat metabolism will disrupt the whole lipid metabolism, raising your triglyceride and lowering your HDL, accelerating the atherosclerosis, and bringing in the cardiac events, and all will finally heighten cardiovascular. So from this, you have an early stroke and a early heart attack, maybe silent, and we know this. The hormonal milieu goes for a toss, and all the 4 M's start happening. 4M, mechanical. You are not being able to carry your own weight. Your knees are giving way, and metabolic, gout, diabetes, fatty liver. Then is your mental. Look bad. All the blame shame game starts happening. You're depressed, anxious, and then the monetary part. Going for a bariatric surgery or choosing your good food that you get on the internet is you have to pay again through the nose. So how much do you earn in relation to what diet you now can choose? So, but we at Meta, we ensure that, well, we will have the simple, similar household stuff that our grandparents used to have, and do a little bit of changes, mental changes, and then adapt to that, and then continue that. So all about continuing and maintaining. We drop down weight by 28. We are the obesity clinic here, and we do it by almost 15% is just. Not a cakewalk, but it's a tough, tedious job. But no kind of Himalayan task. We climb the Himalayas very easily. But the challenge is to hold it back. So our girls keep engaging the patients, dance, drama, dance, high-spirited ways to do it. So the whole stress on not the heart, but all the cells of your body. It's not the heart arrhythmia that you have. Every cell of your body, is in that state of dancing. And then don't like that. Every cell needs to rest. So with obesity and diabetes, your cells are always in a very Shiv and Parvati, that Tandav Natraj state. No, you don't want that. So what I'm saying is this dietary habits, physical activity, all these factors that compound the NCD risk, they can be mitigated, and the vicious, syndrome of obesity and the cascading complications can be arrested.
So that really reframes it. not as a cosmetic issue, but a clinical warning sign. So thank you for breaking that down. It's such an important link that often gets oversimplified.
Yeah.
So finally, if diabetes reversal became the norm, not the exception, how would that change India's healthcare landscape in 10 years from now?
I was saying 5 to 10 years later, maybe you and I, we are doing some business. I'm doing fishing, and you are, steering the boat. If there's any patch of water left, or we believe there would be all water everywhere. I mean, water everywhere. That's a global change that is out to bring it. But the global tilt also needs to emphasize the point that the sea of obesity has to be kind of curtailed. There has to be lean body mass, and the free fat mass has to be removed. So a significantly reduced burden of India's healthcare system can definitely show up overnight. And this is primarily because not from the disease, diabetes and obesity per se, but because of the lower, these related complications, the heavy cost, the financial burden of the complications that you have. So the substantial cost savings for both the public and the private health insurers.
Right.
The shift in healthcare focus from chronic lifestyle-related disease management to preventive lifestyle medicine care. For that, you need a very dedicated pool of nutritionists, exercise physiologists, psychologists.
Right.
70% of the behavioral changes that we have in our system show up for all the NCDs.
Right.
So they will have, psychotherapists will have a much louder say, maybe than even us. And why not? That's a day that I really wish to look with respect and dignity for them. And we need to have a surge in their demand. And that's so much of a crisis still, but people don't realize that this is an area which needs to be filled up. So wellness coaches are there, one, two, this social media, and they're making huge rounds and, huge business. But if that has to be integrated to every human being should be able to get that service from the country they're born in. And this should be integrated with our practicing strategies as well. So as doctors, we need to, again, revise our thoughts of how to address this present burden of diabetes. So finally, I want to say that empowerment of patients through education, self-care, and all these diet, exercise, and good habits-based interventions in sleep is a big subject to discuss. And there would be finally decline in the long-term management, pharmaceutical dependence for all the medicines, whether it's unfair price or fair price. You don't need medicines. So with an improved workforce productivity of this lineage, the caregivers, not like home caregivers, but clinic, meta care, clinic caregivers, the economic kind of parity. We have the problem with equity of affordable, accessible, available healthcare. So that can be given a fine balance, a tune. And the reorientation of medical curricula to lifestyle and metabolic health management should be taught very early. I mean, right from the days of physiology and pathology. And greater public-private collaboration on a community-based wellness initiative. That should be the key, the crux. So as an ordinary man in India, especially from Calcutta and Bengal, and presently the state we are in, I think I can only say that from a very low-cost, humble Medicare clinic, we can think and proudly claim to have a very successful, scalable healthcare innovative model, which can reinforce not only my homeland, but all across the world. There are a lot of people outside India who come for treatment with us, and let everyone be happy, healthy, and wise. That's the key word.
True. So that's definitely an incredibly powerful vision, and it also feels possible.
Yeah.
If we can shift our mindset from management to reversal, that is, I'm sure, very much possible. So thank you for painting such a compelling picture of what's possible.
Pleasure for giving me a chance, Bhavin. I could speak my heart out. It's not that always you get so much time. And it's always that not everyone will understand what I am, because there's another inner me which doesn't understand why I'm thinking all this. Whether from Bengal I'll be able to, even I'm worthy enough to imagine this sort of ideas.
Right.
Am I being like Muhammad bin Tughlaq? I mean, completely eccentric. When people in my school days used to call me Pagla. I mean, because I used to do, be everywhere in everything. I'm a jack of all trades, master of none. But still, I have that wish that one day, as you were, often saying, master, master. So at least if I can juggle with the word called mastery of some visionary objective planning, which is meant to do good to the world. I mean, whether meta, if I'm there or not, can be there for the sake of humanity, for a man to understand that he is living this planet with a better world for the children to live and, thrive.
Yeah. So, sir, before we come to an end to this fantastic interaction that we had, there is something still pending, a fun session, which is a rapid fire round.
Good.
So we see in all the talk shows that there is a rapid fire round. We thought, why not take this liberty when we have best of the doctors of the country? We can take this liberty to have a rapid fire round with them. So are you ready for it?
I'm very eager. I'm looking forward to it earnestly, because that reminds me of my 16 years of age when I was in school and I started doing quiz. And I was quite a prolific quizzer in my college days.
How is it?
Represented my college, represented also my country. So let's see how my brain functions after the age of 60.
The way the conversation has been, I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be rapid and with a lot of fire.
Bless me, bless me.
Are you ready, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. The biggest mistake young doctors make today
is chasing titles and honors rather than mastering, the patient care. That is something that they should do. They should first address why they are there on this planet as doctors, rather than making, money and name for them. So this, because these public medical colleges that we have yet don't show that. But I think the more private medical colleges, the pass outs are, trying to recover that bit of it that is spent on the education.
So true. Preventing diabetes in India requires more than
medication. Of course, as we said, remission, maybe looking at lifestyle, education, and comprehensive, complete community engagement.
Right.
Me as a doctor and the entire, jing bang that I have, the educators.
Right.
Every doctor must, proudly claim that he has educators to make that a complete clinic.
If you were designing a hospital from scratch, the first thing you would do?
Well, I will try to, depending on the industry, you are from, whether you are the pharmaceutical industry, I'm from the medical healthcare industry. One thing we need to focus on is we need to, rather than acquiring new customers and clients, that the way you put it, or for me, it's a patient.
Right.
He's my God, she's my God.
Right.
We need to retain them.
Right.
We need to hold them back. I mean, retaining the existing one will give you 5 to 25 times more business in terms of, your financial equations. So this is some interesting customer relation data that I found out in some Harvard Medical School data, that 5% increase in your retention rate will increase your profit to the tune of 25% to 95%.
Right.
So you're talking about, doing it from a scratch, a hospital. So why not focus on that? Hold on to the man who came the first day in your clinic and, respect him like a father. So he is your father, he is your mother. I mean, even if they're not alive at home, these are the people that you reckon with and you relate with them.
The most fun, the most fulfilling part of being a doctor is
seeing when I meet my patients beyond my walls of the clinic. I mean, how they come and rush towards me, and I feel like initially I get overawed and feel a little, too much to handle. There are occasions when they bow in such a way that I really feel that my meta has really transformed them. That metamorphosis has happened. And there are often, I joke also, softly. There are these cases, diabetes cases, young girls who could not get the pregnancy, who could not be pregnant. So after treatment and a thorough grooming, body weight control and all that, they became, mothers.
Right.
And then they will come to you rushing in the middle of the road. You're talking to someone. Sir, aapke liye main maa maan gaya hoon. So these are, also kind of very rewarding statements that we get to hear.
Okay. The best advice you have ever received?
Is when my Professor Abhinay Rai Chaudhary, and my most revered teacher in postgraduate medicine, Professor B.B. Tripathi, I was at his feet during his last breath. He's the man who coined the term, malnutrition-related diabetes, which J-diabetes, Jamaican diabetes, was then redefined by him. He used to say, he used to live next to the All India Radio in Cuttack, and he was a good radio listener. From the morning, he used to play his radio, the music and all that. And he used to say, please, Debashish, listen more than you speak.
Right.
That will give you an inherent, culture to understand the person well. You can see him actually by listening to him.
Right.
You did not have this MRI scan came at that time. You do not need to do an MRI.
Right.
If you listen to him attentively, you will see the diseases unfolding in your eyes. And that's exactly what happens. I mean, when the patient comes in, starts talking, still, with God's good grace, that still happens. I mean,
when you look back at your career, you feel most proud about?
Well, that's now Metacare Clinic at the moment, because that is something which is actually delivering in the world. The so-called, we were discussing about the industry, the business, and all those negative connotations, making it look more ugly. We still deliver very, very highly qualified, compassionate, and a continuous care. It's not that CGMS you have to do.
Right.
We do a continuous care monitoring. We could do a CCM, a comprehensive care model. So this is something that we are doing at Metacare Clinic and Metadan Foundation. Our journey is guided by compassion, loving kindness, a clear, I would say clarity, very in-depth clarity, and of course, community engagement. That's a path I believe every meaningful healthcare setup should follow anywhere in the world.
No, indeed, sir. I totally agree to the fact that what you're doing at Metadana, it is something to be really proud of, and I'm sure we wish you more power to scale it up further, and I'm sure wherever we can be of any help, it will be a pleasure to be a small part of it.
Bhavin, I can say my gratitude that I was here today, that this was a good time, that God connected again, both of us. And maybe this message that, my inner feelings, which became outer feelings because of the voice that you had let me, unfold, can reach to some people and make some meaning to someone. And that's it.
So, sir, any final message you would like to share with all our listeners and viewers?
So, having been given this chance to talk in your program, I would like to end this with the slogan that we had raised in December last. And in fact, ceremoniously, it was launched by the present IDF resident, Professor Peter Schwartz, along with a godly man who is there in this world still with us, Professor A.K. Azad Khan, a man who's known to have been a part of the sulfasalazine discovery. He was the South Asia region chairman at that point. So two of them were there in the program. When we launched the slogan, screen for NCDs by 20, add healthy years aplenty. Now, I will come to this two lines and, emphatically say something that the World Health Organization has been crying big time, saying that NCD needs to be looked at, 25% reduction of NCD premature mortality for NCD from the age group of 30 to 69. So why are you waiting for a person to die and go to that ripe stage where he's just about to drop dead?
Right.
So you think about a ripe mango in Bengal. So I wanted to tell them that why don't we focus our objective mission on taking care of the risk factors so that these children don't get afflicted with the habit, by the age group of 12. So 12 to 16, Swasth Wala Pathshala, that is the age group where we should screen for NCDs by 20, because most of the NCD risk factors get imbibed by the time you cross your teen. And maybe you are, best premier institute graduate, first, you're ranked first. Next business school ranked first, got a job as a CEO, again the top position. One fine morning you commit suicide. Your mental health is not okay, because you are tuned to only first and first. Maybe you were standing in the queue to buy the air ticket, and you were second in the queue, and you went and committed suicide. So this is what we wanted to change. We wanted to tell the world that screen for NCDs by 20, the mental health component as well, and add healthy years to life. Not that they would drag on after 20 with a retinopathy and a blind eye and maybe 3 stents in the heart, waiting for a bypass, an amputation, an erectile dysfunction. Your life is a mess. Social and every part of it. So why go to that? Why not stop it, nip it in the bud before risk factors happen? So kind of a primordial prevention. Screen for NCDs by 20. Add healthy years aplenty. Well, World Health Organization, the region, the CRO, they have promised that maybe they will take some time to think and come back and revise the status, maybe accept our slogan and spread it to the world. But at least the IDF President Peter was very kind to do that. So I wanted to share this with the audience across the world.
That's indeed such a powerful message, sir. So what an insightful and inspiring conversation we have had today, sir. Whether it's founding transformative care models like the Apollo Sugar Clinic or Metadana, guiding young professionals through structured training, or contributing to national health policy, Dr. Basu continues to impact lives far beyond the consultation room. We thank you, sir, for sharing your knowledge, your journey, and your vision with us and our listeners. And to everyone tuning in, we hope today's conversation leaves an inspiration and empowers people at large. Until next time, be curious, seek information, and stay healthy. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.